Welcome to Sober.Coffee, a weekly coffee chat sharing experience, strength, and hope for anyone on the sober road to recovery. You can download Sober.Coffee weekly on all podcast platforms and check us out on Instagram at Sober.Coffee Podcast and on Twitter at Sober.Coffee Pod. To learn more about us and to help support these sessions, visit online at Sober.Coffee. Here are your hosts, two guys on their own path to recovery, Mike and Glenn. Let's join them at the coffee shop.
Morning, Glenn.
Hey, Mikey. Good morning.
How are you? Good morning, Karen.
Hi, guys. How
Hi,
you
Karen.
doing?
Great
Good.
to have
Karen
you jump in
joining
again.
us again.
Good to be back.
On our favorite table at the coffee shop.
I know.
Good to be back.
Table for three, please. Yeah.
That's awesome. Load up the coffee.
So what's on topic today?
Well, I think we should talk about forgiveness. I think that's a topic that's come up recently. You know, it just seems like the way my life lines up, you know, if I have 7 different conversations in 1 week, it's amazing how they're all about the same thing. You know, and forgiveness has really come up lately. You know, and I think it's good to chat through it.
Yeah. All right,
It's a
great.
good topic.
So
Yeah.
what is forgiveness?
Well, by definition, forgiveness is...
Is this
I'm
Webster's?
going to give you a definition. Sometimes I read a definition and it helps me, even though I know what the word means, it helps me understand it better. An intentional and voluntary process where one may have felt victimized or wronged undergoes a change in feeling and attitude regarding the given offense and overcomes negative emotions such as resentment and vengeance.
Oh my gosh, man, that is like the filet mignon version of a
Ceasing to
definition.
feel resentment against an offender or to grant relief. I
Wow.
like that one, to grant relief.
Relief.
I like that.
I heard the R word in there somewhere, though.
Resentments?
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
You know the definition of that one, by the way?
Talk to me.
Premeditated relapse.
Oh,
That's the definition of
there you go.
resentments.
Yeah. yeah.
Premeditated relapse. I
Let's,
learned that early on.
let's talk about how not to go there.
Well, I'll tell you how we not go there. We have to learn, for me anyway, I had to learn that why do I want to forgive people? Why do I forgive? What do I get from it? And forgiving eliminates that resentment, which plays a huge part in my recovery. Like I just said, kind of tongue-in-cheek, premeditated relapse is the definition of resentment. I can't afford to hold on to anger or things that cause me stress or make me uneasy. You know, forgiveness brings compassion, brings empathy into the relationship. It allows healing. You know, and the program taught me that I forgive so that I don't carry these burdens, and you know, this can impede or sabotage my recovery really quickly too. I mean, things can go from good to holy cow, what just happened in no time at all. You know, if I'm not on my game and watching. So forgiveness is huge in relationships. If I don't forgive anyone else, then how can I ever expect to be forgiven when it's me who needs forgiveness? So, you know, it's important that I learn to forgive others.
Sounds easy enough, but
Yeah.
but Karen, you don't understand what this person did to me. You don't understand.
It's funny. I'm sitting here and I'm just listening to all these big words
Yeah.
and the big official definitions.
Should I dumb it down?
Well, I will dumb it down right now. For me, resentments, it's like the old record players with the needle and how it just scratched the needle on the record or fingernails on a chalkboard. That's, to me, that's what resentments do for me, right? And forgiveness lifts that needle off the record. It stops scratching the chalkboard with the fingernails. And I really like what you said, Karen. It's almost, I think you said it the opposite of how I think of it. Through this program and through working these steps, I have been forgiven so much.
Oh, yeah.
And I have been forgiven spiritually by my higher power, by God. I mean, I have the immense forgiveness for crap that I've done through my life. Secondly, I have forgiven myself. So I don't have to carry the burden of my past with me any longer. I have forgiven myself. Hey, it happened. I learned from it. I live different today. I am a different person today. I have been forgiven so much money through my 9th step, almost $1 million. It is crazy what people have forgiven me. And so with that, how can I not forgive others? I think there's something wrong with me if I can't forgive others. In fact, there's a story in the Bible, where this king forgives this dude of this major debt that he was never able to repay, right? And then the guy leaves there so joyous and so happy and really cool. And he goes to his neighbor who owes him just a little bit of money. And he crushes on him because he owes him the money, right? I mean, that just doesn't make sense, right? I've been forgiven so much, so I am so generous. Somebody screws me, they say, hey, I'm, Glenn, I'm sorry, no problem. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to stick my head in that shredder again, right? But, I mean, I'm just like, and it's really cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
I see in my life every day how the simplest forgiveness improves relationships. I had it at work the other day that something came up and the representative on the other side of this transaction screwed something up. And then she texted me and said, is this going to be a problem? I'm like, well, yeah, that was part of the basis for the decision we made. And she felt so bad. Then she called me and she was near tears. I messed this up. I'm so sorry. I said, listen, everybody makes mistakes. It happens. You know what? We're going to get through it together. Don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up. It's okay. And she was like, why are you being so kind to me? Well, A, I want the transaction to be completed for my client. But B, because everybody makes mistakes. And I couldn't help but wonder, like, she must, the simplest forgiveness, like, hey, don't worry about it. Shit happens. We'll fix it. It went a long way with her. And now every time she calls, she's like super friendly and we're having a nice transaction now and everything's smooth. It could have gone the other way by me saying, what the hell is the matter? What are you new? You don't know better? I didn't do that. I went the other way and said, don't worry, it's okay. We'll fix it. So the simplest forgivenesses go a long way in shaping relationships.
Again, I'm going to bang my drum over here. I can let the guy who cut me off, forgiven. Owe me $100, forgiven. You hurt my feelings. Oh, now you got some. Now you're up against something because I want to hold on to that feeling that you hurt my feelings, and I know what it used to cause me to do, but I'm at a point where I know that bearing those feelings of unforgiveness can lead me down the wrong path. And I just want to know, how do I deal with that, Karen? How do I, again, not the guy cut me off, but how do I really deal with forgiveness when somebody's really cut me deep inside emotionally?
For me, the process of forgiveness is, the first thing I need to do is uncover what is it, what exactly is the anger or the thing that I feel was wrong, was done wrong to me. Like, what am I really upset about? Because sometimes we're focusing, saying, oh, it's this, but really that's not what it is. It might not be what they did. It might be how someone made you feel. So I have to get in touch with what it is that's affecting me negatively.
So analyze the wound.
Right. Then I need to make the decision that I'm going to forgive this person. And that doesn't mean that I condone their actions or that I'm okay with it. It just means I'm deciding that it's not good for me to keep this in my heart anymore. That's all it means. I'm not going to carry it around anymore.
Well, it's funny how people say, and with resentments, when you carry it around, it's funny how the damage it does to us, and we stay up at night and we're churning it and we're doing the mental gymnastics over it while they're sleeping like a baby.
Yeah, right.
It's just crazy. So, that's one of the things that forgiveness, we no longer have to carry it around. And if you think about it, most of the stuff, not a big deal, man. It's just...
It doesn't mean that we're a doormat either. It doesn't mean that it's okay to treat me however you want to treat me and I'm just going to forgive you. It means that I think enough of, I don't forgive you for you. I forgive you for me.
Right.
I forgive because I love myself, not because I love the other guy. Well, maybe sometimes I do, but I forgive because I love me. And I don't want the burden carried around with me. Medical professionals say that forgiveness reduces heart heart attack and cholesterol and improve sleep, and it can reduce blood pressure, and it's amazing what it can do.
It reduces my relapses.
There you go.
I mean, I love Johns Hopkins, but who cares? It reduces it reduces my relapses.
I like it. I
Period.
like it. And if I go to forgive somebody, like it doesn't always have to be I come to see you and I say, Mikey, I forgive you for, calling me whatever. It doesn't have to always be a physical action. Sometimes it's just something within me that I just decide, okay, I'm done with this, and I release it. The other person doesn't always even have to know that you forgave them. That's forgiveness is more internal for me than it is an external thing. It doesn't always have to be an actual conversation. But once I make the decision and I figure out what it is I'm upset about and that realize it's not serving me and get ready to let it go, just complete the process. And then I feel better and I'm freer and I'm clearer to focus on my own recovery.
Yeah, and I think, being forgiven is great, but also, working the steps of the program, especially, 10, the daily inventory, I am very quick. In fact, I used to do it, page 86 says to do it at night, right? But I'm hyper aware now, and I can ask for forgiveness in real time. I know when I step in crap. I just know it. And, especially with my wife, I do it a lot. And I'm like, hey, babe, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that, or I should have said it a better way, or, then I always need to do, hey, honey, what I said, I really meant, and it, it's a valid point. I just should have said it a different way. I'm still a jerk. But no, I and people say, well, how do you ask for forgiveness? For me with my God, with my higher power, who I call God, I said, hey, God, please forgive me. Please forgive me for being off the path. Being off my purpose. And then I say, hey, thanks for my new purpose, and give me the strength to live it. Right. But then part of that is not just saying it, but I believed that I am forgiven. It wasn't just, well, maybe I'm forgiven. No, I really had strong belief. And then I ask others for forgiveness. But I think a part of that is when you ask for forgiveness, you got to change. Because
Absolutely.
I used to say I'm sorry all the time, ask for forgiveness, and I didn't mean it. I just got caught in the moment, got caught drunk again. And hey, what do I need to say to get through this time? Hey, it'll be better next time. No. It's like I have a son, I love him, 17. It says he's sorry all the time, but doesn't change behavior. And I'm saying, look, let's focus on this.
It's hard. Self-forgiveness is very hard. You were talking a little bit about it a few minutes ago, Glenn, about learning to forgive yourself. Earlier on, especially for women, I think it's hard because we identify so much when we first come in with the things that we did when we were drinking. And I think for women, it's even a little harder because sometimes it involves our kids or, being neglectful or not being the best parent. And I always try to help the gals that I work with understand that's not who you are. It's just shit you did. It's not who you are. You have an opportunity here to become a better version of you, to be a better human, to be a better mom, a better wife, a better you, a better friend, a better whatever you want to be. And I think it's hard in the beginning because we don't feel that we deserve forgiveness. We feel like we should be punished.
Right, but
that's hard.
Yeah, you make a really valid point. There was I've been counseled on that as well, and which Mike am I forgiving, right? So, if this Mike here today acted the way the other Mike acted, I'd have a hard time forgiving them. But I have to go back and forgive that sick Mike. He was in a different spot. He didn't understand how to deal with emotions. He hadn't learned about emotional sobriety. He was handicapped in a lot of ways. So I can forgive old Mike, and I have to realize that I have a new Mike now.
That's a good point. That's a real good point.
So what are some of the results, if you put on the coat of forgiveness, right? If you add that tool to your tool bag, what's some hope, right? What's some benefits of doing that?
Oh man, freedom. How about freedom?
Freedom. Yeah, you feel freer in your heart, your soul. I think the line of communication between you and the other person, regardless of whether you were the one for, forgiving or being forgiven, I think that line of communication is open, and then you can move forward in your relationship with the other person. And then my heart and my soul are clearer to just focus on recovery and or whatever it is in my life I'm focusing on that day. I just don't have to carry the burdens around. I don't have to carry this with me.
Yeah, you guys use the word freedom. I love that. I would add the word peace for me. I mean, that's how I look at it. Yeah, peace and serenity.
Get a lot of that.
Yeah, if you're all cranked up, with resentments, and not forgiving and harboring, and a lot of that's ego driven anyhow. It's hard to find peace in that zone.
Right.
So
Right.
I love it, man.
Any tools? There's one I'd like to. My sponsor just recently gave me because I've been challenged with forgiving somebody for doing some harm to me, and he took me to page 552 of the big book, and I hadn't pondered. It's back in the stories. So it's not part of the meat of the 164. Oh my goodness! Wow, the great prayer, and the way they frame it out on page 552 is. Say this prayer of forgiveness for a couple of weeks. Say it every day for a couple of weeks, and then let it go. Let it go. It's no longer yours. And it was great advice for me, and I pass that along to anybody. Check it out, page 552.
552.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to wrap this up, I think forgiveness is a decision. I think you need to decide
I heard
to
that
forgive.
word from Karen, yeah.
Yeah, I think you need to make that decision, right?
Absolutely.
And there's there's a number of prayers. I got one printed out here, but we can put it up on the site. Prayer, the power of forgiveness. Bless me with the wonderful power of forgiveness. But I think it's a decision.
My takeaway from this morning, though, I forgive others not because I necessarily love them, but because they love me. That was a great takeaway. Thanks so much, Karen.
We've been forgiven,
and we've been
we've
been forgiven of so much.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Go forgive.
Boom.
Boom.
I always say boom now, by the way.
No, boom's awesome.
Always saying boom.
There's no question mark when you say boom.
Just say boom.
Have a great week, guys.
Bye,
right.
guys. Good to see
Bye.
you.
Thank
Great
you.
coffee. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us for today's coffee chat. To contact the show, email us at podcast@Sober.Coffee. If you need immediate help, the AA hotline is 800-839-1686. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 800-273-8255. Remember, Mike and Glenn are sharing their own journey on the path to recovery. Any suggestions, medical or otherwise, are their own experiences and should not be viewed as professional advice. See you next week, and remember, there is a solution.